Hi everybody, Jenny with Bet in the Farm, and today we're going to talk canning. Okay, so I had seen some of the collaborations that were going around about canning, what you love to can, what you don't like to can or won't can anymore. I'm going to put a little different spin on it because I'm new at canning, but yet I'm not, and I'll explain that. But I wanted to do what I love to can, what I need to change to can if I'm going to do it again, and what I'm would like to can. So, okay, so over 20 years ago, probably 30 years ago, not trying to tell my age, but anyway, my mom would go and make chicken noodles and mashed potatoes. She would take some chicken, she would put it in this big saucepan with a lid on it that had this little jiggler, and we'd listen to it, and after it was done, she'd take it off, we'd put it under the sink just to let it cool off, open it up, shred the chicken, discard the bones, and leave the broth, the chicken, and put in dumplings or put in noodles or whatever. And I would do that all the time. Well, many years later, I come to find out that that was actually a pressure cooker canner, and that you shouldn't ever move it. You shouldn't put it under cool water. But I didn't know, so I was pretty much fearless when it came to it. Well, then, years go down the road, and I've got my own place, and I'm married, and I want to make chicken noodles and mashed potatoes. Well, the only way I know how is to put it in the cooker and do that. Well, I come to find out, this is what I was using, and it's actually a cooker canner. There's a little thing. It fits a whopping 7 pints, and so I started canning green beans. I could do 7 pints at a time. So I did that for a long time. And then my husband is big into deer hunting, and my mother-in-law canned venison all the time, and I was very excited, wanted to learn how. She came over, we did some pints, which was it's a good size. And so I was hooked. The green beans kind of had me hooked, but the venison just really had me hooked. We used it for like pulled pork, pulled venison, barbecue. We used it for what my daughter calls her favorite beef and noodles, but she knows it's venison. And so I found, Chad came home one day and he had this awesome, huge pressure canner and also a water bath canner. He got them both for $20 at a garage sale. I was a very happy canner. So anyway, that's the past story. So I'm going to go with what I'm actually going to go with the one I didn't care for first. This year we helped my dad butcher chickens. I was so excited to have canned chicken. We use chicken and I make a chicken roll up, chicken casseroles, chicken noodles and mashed potatoes, all these things. We love chicken, probably eat it once or twice a week. So I was so excited to be able to can chicken. Well, they were not fryers or meat birds. They were actually his laying hens that were older, so it was going to be good for broth and for canning. Well, the legs were really small. I could not get the meat off of it. And Chad suggested, well, why don't you cook it? And I'm like, well, heck, I know how to do that. So I went and I pressure cooked it, stripped all the meat off. I took the breast, the way they were raw, cut them up in chunks, put it all together. I'm telling you what, folks, I do not wish I would have done that. First of all, I don't care for dark meat anyway, but I try. And normally with noodles, I don't mind it. Well, I don't know if it was because of cooking the dark meat and then having the white meat raw, if that's what caused it, but I do not. It's stringy. The white meat's almost dry, which I totally don't understand. So that one, I'm going to do it again, but I'm only going to can the white meat. I think if I do the dark meat, I might do the solid legs or freeze the legs and the thighs for Chad and JC to grill out. I'm not going to can it anymore. I'm just going to can just the white meat. So anyway, so that's that. The other thing with the same birds, I took all the bones, the neck, everything, and made a really good broth. And it looked beautiful. I let it sit, for like 25 hours. Well, so this is my broth. It looks really pretty. I put it through a cheesecloth twice, and I still have some floaties on the bottom and on the top. I don't know if that's normal or not because I've never done it before. That was one thing that I was kind of questioning. And I ran it through the cheesecloth, like I said, 2 or 3 times. So I don't understand how I still had all this stuff. The other thing, and I've never actually watched a video on broth, but so my canner's done. I did it for the allotted amount at a time. I did all that stuff. I let it cool naturally, didn't move it. The pressure went out. I took the lid off. I'm all excited. I take 2 cans out, put them over on my towel, and I go to get my third, and all of a sudden it goes ping, and I'm like, oh, my favorite sound, my ping sound, right? Well, then all of a sudden, the next one, ping, ping, and then they started popping back up, and it was like boom, boom, ping, 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 and it was playing this song. Well, I was scared to death and thought they were going to explode. I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not. So I didn't know if I should put the lid back on, if I should put them back in there, put the lid on, what to do. I'm actually in my mudroom peeking in the kitchen, watching to make sure nothing explodes. I put a towel over the 2 I'd already pulled off. So I'm not quite sure what I did on that. If anyone has any ideas, if it's supposed to do that, because I could see the liquid inside boiling. So I figured maybe that's why it was doing that. But anyway, so that's my experience of things I didn't care for, and I'm not sure if it was just what I did wrong, or if it's a learning curve. And like I said on the broth, if that stuff's supposed to be in there, I don't know if it's supposed to ping like that, ping crazy into a musical. I don't know. Okay, so I want to go to the things that I have canned for a long time and that I love to can. Of course, the old classic green beans. I love, love, love canning green beans. Not only because it's food storage for us. It is because my daughter is a picky eater, and to get her to eat vegetables, but she loves garden green beans. So that makes me very super happy. Okay, venison. Like I said, I love canning venison, and it doesn't look the greatest, but oh my gosh, it's so good. I've given it to people. There's no gamey taste whatsoever when you can it, and it's super easy to do. So to me, it's not intimidating canning meat. But so that's definitely another one. Let's see, last year, my father-in-law brought over a 5-gallon bucket of tomatoes. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these tomatoes? Chad's like, well, I guess you're going to make salsa. And I said, well, I've never made salsa. He goes, well, going to figure it out. So I came up with my own recipe, and it takes no pre-packaged seasoning whatsoever. This is all natural goodies in here. And Chad swears it's a health booster. Makes him feel so much better. So I love canning salsa. Chili. We love chili in this house. And I figured one day, you know, anything you can buy canned, you can pretty much can. That's a no-brainer. Well, so you can buy canned chili, and everyone loves my chili. So I decided to can it, and it's turned out really, really good. So I'm going to continue to do that. Okay, some of my first for this year. Pears. I had never done pears before. I cut them up, put them in a light syrup. Chad said they taste just as good as the day I got them, and they turned out absolutely beautiful. I will do that definitely again. That was a first that I'm really excited about. One I don't have that was a first is carrots. We did garden carrots, and I put a little bit of brown sugar in it and then put hot water. They turned out fabulous. I'm going to continue to do carrots. Absolutely love those. Another first for this year, thanks to Cog Hill Farm, is that he did a video on his peach jam, and I got so excited. I never had done jams or jellies or anything before, so I was so excited to try it, and it turned out great. I love the peach jam that I did this year. Another new one is we got, if you noticed in my apple pie video, that we got gifted a whole bunch of apples. So I made apple butter. Actually, in the video, I talked about doing the apple butter, and it turned out a beautiful brown. And actually, I know to some this may seem like a lot. You don't know how much my family loves apple butter. So pints are perfect size for that. Another first this year I was very excited and very nervous to do was bread and butter pickles. And I was so nervous because I wanted them to turn out right, and I wanted them to be crispy. I wanted them to taste good, and I personally don't eat them. So I have to go by what Chad said, and he said I did a fantastic job, and it's a great recipe, so I'm going to keep doing that one again. Some things that I would like to do that I haven't done yet. Some are pretty simple, some not so much. Corn. I've never canned corn. We eat a lot of corn around here as well as green beans, so I'd like to do that. Ground meat, beef or venison. I've got a lot of venison in the freezer and I would like to can that. So actually I'm going to ask Miss Lisa at 7 Days how exactly to do it since it's been frozen. As I know she says raw packs a little bit, she liked the texture better and the taste of it better, but mine's frozen. So to thaw it out, I can thaw it out naturally and then can it, but I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. Pie fillings. I love to can some pie fillings. I've heard some horror stories, so it makes me a little leery, but I'll try a couple, maybe some pints or something. Soups. I would like to try to can my homemade vegetable soup, maybe some chicken noodle soup. So I'm going to try some of that. Let's see what else. Oh, tomato sauce. I use tomato sauce in roast, or tomato juice rather. I use it in my roast. I use it with chili. So I would really like to learn to do tomato juice and pizza sauce and spaghetti sauce, because we love our, you swear we're Italian, we love our red sauces here. One thing that I'd like to do probably yet this year is potatoes. I've heard some people say if you do them just raw, they're not as they're starchy. Some people say if you pre-cook them a little bit, they're not as starchy. So I'm going to try a couple different ways on that. I think Lisa actually did a video on that too. So I'm going to try to remember what she said and go back to that one. And then lard. So I would like to see maybe if I can go to we have a meat market about 20 miles away. Maybe if I could get some leaf lard in, or leaf renderings in, to can some lard, because I use that a lot with my soaps and my pies and things like that. So anyway, so that is my canning video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any help whatsoever, could give me recipes or advice, I would sure appreciate it. And if there's any recipes of the stuff I've made that you'd like, let me know that too, and I'd be sure to help you. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and give us the thumbs up. And I hope you have a wonderful day. You can find us on Facebook at Bet and the Farm. And I've got some really cool t-shirts that I'm now doing and that I have offered on my Simply Enough page on my shop and that. Canners, there's one specially for you. So I hope you check it out. We'll see you later. Bye.